working with the local church to take the hope of Christ to every student in the United States. This is First Priority. Now here are your hosts, Steve Cherico and Brad Schelling.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the First Priority Podcast. I am glad you're here today. My name is Brad Schelling, and I've got some of the best people on the planet with me today. We are planning for our annual gathering of First Priority leadership in Nashville, Tennessee this coming October. And Heather, Jacob, and Jenna have wonderfully volunteered to get on the podcast today and just talk about that event, what we can expect and who we can expect and all those types of things. Whether you're coming or not, I think it can be of interest to you because it just gives you another peek inside under the hood, if you will, of First Priority and what we're doing. So Heather, Jacob, Jenna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Well, if we could go down in that order, only because that's the order you are on my screen. Heather, Jacob, Jenna, would you take a moment, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you are, and a little bit about family, hobbies, special interest groups, things of that nature?
Sure. So I guess I'm first. I'm Heather Bundy. I am an area coordinator in for First Priority Fort Worth. Love it out here. I was just telling them as we got on that the weather's gotten cooler, which I love. I've been with First Priority for just over a year. I was an educator prior to that. I've been married to my husband, Jeff, for almost 25 years. We have two children. William, who is 21 and graduated college in May, and our daughter, Emma, who is 19. Goodness, I almost forgot. 19 and is at Abilene Christian University studying athletic training. Um, let's see, hobbies. I love to be outdoors. It's how I hear from the Lord best. It's how I connect with our family best. So anytime I can go hiking, kayaking, anything like that is what I love the most.
That's awesome. And you can do that in Fort Worth?
I can't, well, hiking. I tell my friend that, especially locally, I was born and raised in California, so I lived in Lake Tahoe for a period of time. And so hiking for me is a lot different
Yes.
than hiking out here. So we go on nature walks, is what my friend now says, because it's not quite the same as hiking
Oh,
in Lake Tahoe. But
yep.
yes, we can kayak. We have kayaks. My husband has a fishing boat slash kayak, and so
Cool.
because he loves to fish, and so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we can do most of it here.
That's awesome. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Jacob?
Yes, I'm Jacob Sharp. I am the area director for First Priority Greater Nashville. So I oversee Rutherford County and the South Nashville, South Davidson County areas. I current hobby right now, getting back into it, is hiking. We've been doing that with our new son, Judah. It's 5 months now. So took him on
Yeah.
his first hike the other day, which was absolutely awesome. Fun to see.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah, just enjoying that time with him. And yeah, so that's a little bit who I am.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Jenna, and I am a area coordinator in Kansas City. So I have been with First for about a year now, and as far as I live just like in southern KC, and honestly, I just live on some land, and it's pretty chill. So I feel like if I'm going on a hike, it's like I'm just walking in the back. But I say that my hobby is hiking because it's not, but I just want to fit group. But yeah, I mean, I just love being able to spend time with people. That's what really fills me up. And so I love being able to just spend time with my family and friends. And now that it's fall and not super hot outside, I love playing like pickleball and just like doing things like that. And so, yeah.
And can I add on to that? Because I think it's super cool that you help lead a house church.
I do. Yeah, I have a house church at my house, and we also started that like a year ago. So, and now we're about to like multiply. So we have another house church starting. We trained leaders, and we're exciting to be a part of that. Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, for the people who are listening who don't know, we got Align 2024 coming up. Um, and I
What
should
is
know,
that, Brad?
what is that? That is an event where first priority leadership are invited to spend, we don't even spend 48 hours together. It's like 36 hours, Monday afternoon, 3 o'clock ish, all the way over to Wednesday afternoon, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Just talking all things first priority. So whether you're a staff member, a volunteer, club coach, we get a little bit of everybody. We don't get a lot of teacher sponsors because, school's in session the end of October, student leaders as well. It's more, for the people who are overseeing first priority, but we do it every year. We get together, and we intentionally changed the language this year from fall conference to Align 2024. I think it's not just semantics, but it's really what we want to do, right? We want to align around the mission of taking the hope of Christ to every student and make it less like a conference and that expectation or connotation, whatever that might be, that comes with that, and say, hey, how can we all come together? There's 25 territories that call themselves first priority. Let's come together and just rub shoulders and see how we can make each other better. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that happening, and I'm really excited about the team, mostly because Heather's taken the chair person of that team, and I've never gotten so many compliments about making that decision as any other decision I've ever made with First Priority. So thank you, Heather, for taking that lead role.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
talk to us about what you're excited about with Align and how things are coming together and what you
So
see
one
out.
of yeah, so one of the things I love is the verses that we decided on. It was from Hebrews. Brad had actually brought it to one of our team meetings. And I love it. It's Hebrews 10:23 through 25. It says, "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering. For he who promised is faithful, and let us consider how to stir one another to love and good works, not neglecting to meet together, as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day draw near." And I think that speaks to exactly what Brad had just said. I think what I'm most excited about is having been here for a year, rubbing shoulders with everybody, chapters, districts, board members, like you said, pastors, if they're coming, anybody coming together that just brings the knowledge of, hey, I've been here a year and here's what I've learned, or I've
Yeah.
been here 25 years and here's what I know works, and being able to really collaborate together. We came up with 3 words, especially for our keynote speakers, of equip, encourage, and empower. And I love that because that's really what we're coming together to do. Here we are doing what God has put on our lives, and helping these students to really be empowered to lead. But that starts with us. It's a top down, right? We've got to be equipped, empowered, and encouraged to do that so that they lead well and learn to lead well on their campuses. So I think that's what I'm most excited about. And what I love about the team is everybody has that mindset. Everybody takes their part of that team and is loving what they're doing.
Yeah. I would agree with that. If I can jump back in again too. I don't know. Can we talk about speakers for a
Sure.
moment? Because I think that falls right into what we say when we're aligning. This isn't the national office, national support center. This isn't First Party of America saying, "Hey, here's dictating from the top what we need to do." Right. So our speakers are JD Simpson, who is the director in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, been around forever. And that is a long time, and he probably would laugh at you and say that. But I mean, he's been in student ministry since he was in his 20s. He's been doing First Priority for the last 25, 27 years. He's did an Ironman for his 60th birthday. He's just a rock star kind of guy. And when you look at him, you're like, yeah, he's the cool kid. He was cool in high school. He's still cool now, right? But you talk to him and he's just one of the most godly, humble men that you've ever met. And it's like, man, this guy is investing in people. And he's been a director forever. We've got Joseph Daly, who's a board
Mhm.
member in Birmingham. So another perspective that you're getting. He started as a student leader, and he'll tell I'm not going to steal his thunder for when we're together with him. But I mean, he's gone through it all. He's been on staff, and now he's a board member. He's going to be sharing. And then we have a First Party of America board member who will be sharing. And that's going to be yet another third perspective there. And then to end it, the last session is going to be Steve and Josh. Josh is 25. He's down in South Florida. Steve's older than 25 and he's up here in Nashville, and he's not here, so I can pick on him. Yeah. And the two of them, the new era of First Priority and the old era of First Priority coming together to end us in just a time of prayer and yes, commissioning us really as leaders to go back out. I'm super excited about the diversity, but the intentionality of this team to bring those people together and hear about First Priority from different perspectives. So, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And each one of them is going to represent one of those words of equip, encourage, and empower. And then, like you said, Josh and Steve will end us out with that commission.
Yeah.
So,
That's going to be so fun. So fun.
yeah.
Jacob, what are you
But
excited about? Or do you have more, Heather?
no. I was going to lead into Jacob, but what I love is what we're doing with worship too. So that's what I was going to say was I'd love to hear from Jacob because I've gotten to talk to a couple of people that he's going to be leading with, and that's been awesome too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think something that was, Brad and I were throwing around was what to do with kind of our opening night of worship. And, um, do we bring in, because last year we had an outside group come in and lead worship for us. But I had kind of kept having this thought of having somebody in First Priority be the one who lead us into worship. And I think Brad has been trying for a long time to get Mark Robbins, our president, to help lead worship. And I just kept having that thought of, man, what a beautiful opportunity. The guy who is helping cast vision, provide organization, and lead the charge in First Priority, be the one who leads us into worship. And so went to Mark and had a phone call with him the other day, and he even said, Jacob, the other times people have asked me, I have not felt led to do so. This year, I feel led to do so. So I felt super humbled and honored that he would even consider that. But I think it kind of opens a really good tone for our conference. The guy who is leading the charge to create a space and a moment for us and to remind us of, number one, why are we doing this all in the first place? So that was really, really encouraging. On a musical front, they're not necessarily involved in the worship. We have one of our graduated First Priority alumni who is currently at Belmont. I think his major is piano, or it's something related to music. But while we're all eating dinner, he's going to be just in the background playing piano for us. One of the thoughts there was just for us to be able to see the fruit of our labor. So to have students kind of intermingled in the conference time, so that we can just get a taste of, what we do matters, what we do has power. And by the way, here's the fruit of that. Here's a student who's at Belmont who actually gets to pour back into us just in a very, very small way. So worship is really, really, it's geared towards everybody on staff who has an ability to lead to be able to pour back into the ministry that they're serving. And it kind of goes back to, Heather, what you talked about with that scripture. Let us consider how to stir one another up. And so in the morning times, the two who are leading worship will have an opportunity to also share a devotional time with us. And so I think it really kind of continues to fulfill that theme of what does it mean to be aligned, but also how do we stir one another up to the work that we're called to do. And I just think that God uses those moments, right? Those moments of worship and devo to pour back into us. We don't necessarily need Hillsong or the next big worship artist there, but just people who have that ability, who are in the trenches, right? So they're leading from the place and the perspective of, I'm in this with you. We're working this out together. And so I think that it kind of creates a little bit more of a special moment in worship knowing that the person who's leading us is the person who's also doing this, across the state,
Yeah.
across the country, in a different capacity. And so that was kind of our heart for it. And it's cool how it's all just taken off.
Yep.
And to see the people who are involved, and so that's been encouraging and fun to witness and to be a part of.
What was really cool was I had a call with Ashlyn, which is one of the ones leading the devotions. One of the mornings she asked to have a call, and she just wanted to hear the heart of where our team was and what we were desiring. You had sent her an email with information, and what was cool was when as we talked, she was like, "The Lord is leading me right down this path, and this is
Hmm.
exactly what I've been thinking about and doing." And so, like you said, to see God kind of from Mark feeling that call this year to Ashland, kind of being on that same path of where we are without being in the meetings, without knowing any of the things, has been really neat for me too, to see how it is aligned so that
Hmm.
that word and that shift was kind of fitting for this year. So,
Yeah, and I think it's cool too because, you know, I feel like many organizations, churches specifically, talk about this theme of like, how do we get on the same page? How do we align?
mhm,
And the scripture that keeps coming to mind is in Psalms where it says, unless the Lord builds the house, we labor in vain. And, we can try to do a conference to align people, to get people in a room to talk about what's the mission, vision, purpose of first priority. Um, but Heather, I think you're right, and I think you're spot on. Like this vision of being aligned isn't one that we created or
mhm,
one that we have tried to cultivate. It's one that the Lord has already cultivated. And I think it's also a testimony to us that we're aligned with the Lord. That we're not again trying
mhm,
to create our own agenda in this conference and try to start our own thing. But it's even in these small, like kind of memory stone moments of I call Mark and he's like, "Yeah, I've said no the last 5 times people have asked me, but this year, yes."
Mhm.
Ashlyn saying, "Oh, this is what the Lord's doing in my personal life and in our district as a
mhm,
group." And even in our meetings in Nashville, we've constantly had that conversation of how can we continue to align ourselves with the mission, vision,
mhm,
values, not just in a larger scale, but also in our clubs, like on a club level. And so it's cool because again, we're not aligning around any one person's thought or idea or mission. We're aligning with the Lord,
mhm,
and the confirmation is what's cool about it, is like God
mhm,
is confirming through these different people, like, oh yeah, I've had that same thought. I feel like the Lord's been leading me in that same direction. So it just makes me feel like, okay, we're on the right path. Like we're doing the right
yep.
things. We're doing the things that God's calling us to do, which means that if he's building the house, then we don't labor in vain, that we're laboring in a way that's going to bring effective change through first priority, but also in the club levels as well.
Yep.
So another thing I'm excited about are the fall breakouts. So when I first became a part of the team, Brad had asked me just to be a team member, and so I was put with Debbie and Jenna to talk about fall breakouts, and we just got on a roll. And the teacher in me, which is part of what Brad loves about me being the lead of this, is that I had everything written down of what we wanted to do for breakouts, who we wanted to shoulder tap. And so that was a fun part of it too. But Jenna, if you'll tell us a little bit about that and what you're excited about, that would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. When it comes to the breakout, I'm excited because I just remember last year being at fall conference where it was just like everyone was able to get together during breakouts and really just share, where they're at in different areas,
Mhm,
a really cool space to have conversations and learn from each other. And so we have a few different breakouts that I'm excited about. One of them being club start to finish, just like talking about practically like rhythms, like what do you do throughout the school year and like how does this work for you? And conversations like that, because every time I'm talking to someone, even in a different area, like I learn so much about, what's different times of the year. Another one have is donor conversations from a donor's perspective. And so that's a cool opportunity to be able to learn, okay, from a first priority donor, what are their thoughts whenever I'm asking them for money, or here's some fundraising tips from their perspective versus from another person in ministry. And I think it can give us a cool way to be able to just understand more how to, fundraise and do part of that, since it's part of our job. And then also cultural conversations, just being able to talk about, okay, like, differences in age, or even just different, like when you're reaching students who are just in a completely different phase of life as you, or, their home life wasn't like yours, or, how do we have those conversations? How do we best reach schools the best that we can, just with the amount of diversity that is around? And then our last one, Heather, you're going to have to remind me on what the...
Engaging, equipping, and empowering the local church.
Yes. Okay, that one.
Mm.
And obviously, with what we do, we want to unite the local church. We want to bring people together. So how can we continue to do that in the best? How can we serve our pastors? How can we give them spaces to lead and reach their students on a whole nother level on their school campus? And so with all of those, I feel like it's cool because it hits, like every aspect of kind of what we do, but also just being able to have more conversations around it and be able to learn from people who are doing what we do.
Yeah,
Right.
and I think what I love is the direction that each of the leaders are taking. Jenna, you and I have seen with Jeff, who's doing club start to finish, like he took all the information and then has been emailing us with, what if I do this? What if I do that? And I've loved them kind of take ownership over each one and just in their expertise be able to take it and really know what they're doing, but press into it and go, I feel like this would be best for us as a team. And this is how it should look. And I've loved that part of it too. Because you're right. Last year, that was important for me too, to meet with other people and be able to hear and see what they were doing across all of the different areas.
For sure.
Well, I think the last part of our discussion, or at least the category wise, is Tuesday afternoon, and our plans for that. Would you like me to speak into that first, Heather,
Sure.
or do you want
Yeah.
to?
Yeah.
Um,
Why don't you start?
I'm really excited, and it's one of those things. So I'll set it up to say last year we went to we went to Music Row in Nashville, went to a recording studio, saw famous people, you know, and the question becomes, how do you raise the bar from that, right? And so one of the things that my wife and I talk about is like Christmas for our kids, right? The Christmas they talk about a lot is the headphone where we bought them AirPods, right? They're like, that was the best Christmas ever. Well, why is it the best Christmas ever? Because we didn't buy them AirPods we didn't keep trying to one up it all the time.
Mhm.
And so we're not in a one up situation here. What we're feeling called to in this thing, what am I?
I said, dang it. No.
I know, right? um, is that uh, we're gonna hang out with each other, and we're letting people pick how you hang out with each other to continue to rub shoulders, to continue these conversations, to get out into Nashville, right? So we have several ways for us just to spend 4 hours together, right? We're going to head out mid-afternoon. We're going to go eat a meal together, but some people are going to go to the Bridge Ministries and do ministry together in downtown Nashville. I can't give you all the details. I don't know a lot about the Bridge Ministries, but it's super exciting. Susan just went to the banquet for that, so she's really excited to be a part of that. I think Debbie is leading that charge.
Brad, I can speak into it a little bit. I've been a couple
Go for it.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bridge Ministry, they have different kind of aspects and sides to their ministry, but on Tuesday nights, what they do is they just host an event for homeless people underneath the Jefferson Street Bridge in Nashville. So I think it's where the new Sound Stadium is at.
Mm-hmm.
And so right under that bridge, they feed the homeless people. They have a time of worship, and they have a time of fellowship, and then just a message and a time for response at the end. And they keep that up on a weekly basis. And so what they have is volunteers show up and help in different capacities, whether it's to help pass out food, to be prayer partners, potentially be involved in worship or the teaching. So there are different kind of ways to serve through the event. I'm guessing the first priority people will be involved in food distribution, potentially clothes distribution as well.
Yep.
So those are the different ways in how it works on Tuesday night. So
That's awesome.
it's
I'm
awesome.
excited for the group that's going to be down there.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially with Debbie's energy and all that. I think you might end up passing water out on Broadway or something like that. Just going, evangelize kind of thing. Another group is heading to play disc golf at Crockett Park. Just going to go relax and enjoy throwing some discs and being part of that. Another group, we're heading to the game terminal. So free video games, all those NBA Jam, all of us in our 40s and 50s remember those years very well. We can go live our glory years, but there's also cornhole there and several other outside activities there as well. So just going to go relax and have a good time. I think there was a fourth one too, and I'm not remembering that one.
No, those are the three. Those are the three choices. Yep, you got them all.
Okay.
Yep.
But just taking that intentional time, I remember you saying that, Heather, that we don't structure everything and saying, hey, we have to start the conversation at 10 and we're done at 10:45 and then we're moving on to the next thing. But we're going to carve some time out, recognizing the fact that, we have 100+ full and part-time staff around the country, but how many of us really get to know each other? And I think that 4 hours is going to be key to that, getting really to know each other on a social level, continuing the conversations we heard Monday night and all day Tuesday, and hopefully continuing to engage each other throughout the year, because this is an organic grassroots ministry and we want it to be that way.
Yeah. And I love that you're doing it kind of in your sweet spot, right? You're choosing game terminal and going to play video games and hang out or play cornhole, or you're doing disc golf, which will definitely love from my area, and you're or you're going to serve. And so whoever you are, you're taking that intentional time is really within your sweet spot too. And so you're getting to know people kind of on that level of what they love and who they are, and then seeing them in that way.
We'll know who the true Jesus followers are on Tuesday. The ones that go serve the homeless or the ones that go play video games.
You can have amazing gospel conversations playing disc golf.
You
I don't know
can.
about playing video games.
Well,
but...
yeah. You can. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Pac-Man is like Jesus. I don't know what that is, but I'll figure it out before
he's going to get you. No, I'm sure.
Exactly. He's chasing you.
Chasing you down.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. What did I miss? What did we all? Yeah. Is there anything we missed in this?
I think we
Brad,
covered. Yeah. Go ahead, Jacob.
What are you excited about for conference?
I'm excited about being in the same room with everybody. I mean, I feel like I have a privileged role with First Priority that I do get to talk to most people on a semi-regular basis. I'll say it that way, because I know there's some people I only talk to every 6 months. So I won't say that I talk to everybody every month. But I do get that. But to see everybody together in the same room and, surprised, oh, Heather, you've never met. I mean, it was 2 years ago, I think, that I was just floored that nobody had met Debbie. I know that's a big generalization. People had met Debbie and they'd heard of Debbie, but she hadn't been maybe to the event in a little bit. And all of a sudden there was a whole group of people that are like, who's Debbie? Like, that's just the most exciting part of it for me, is seeing everybody build those relationships. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was great to be here.
Well, thank you, Heather, for taking the chair, your teacher gifts, and sending. I mean, even just sending an email is upping my game from what I was doing last year, leading the event. But yeah, you're doing a phenomenal job, Jenna, Jacob, and the whole team. Because Debbie's on the team, Sandy, John Caruth, Clint. Who am I missing? Is all on the team this year.
Justin's going to be joining us because he's emceeing. So, so that'll be huge. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, it's going to be a great event. So I think this is coming out in October since we're recording this the last couple of days of September. So I will say, I hope to see you all later this month who are listening to this podcast. So, and if you're not coming, send me an email. I know people. We can get you there. Cool. Well, thank you all for joining today. And I look forward to seeing you not on a screen, but in person at the end of this month.
Sounds good. See ya.